Hello, my yarny friends. I'm Sara Sach. Welcome or welcome back to my crochet channel. Today's video, I'm going to show you how to crochet the All My Heart washcloth. Now, this is a little bit smaller of a washcloth. I would say it's more of a face cloth. It measures about 8 inches this way, and then across is about 9 inches. If you want to make it longer, of course, you could always add more of the repeat rows and make it a longer washcloth. Or if you make more repeats, you can turn it into a lovely tea towel. Lots of options there. Alrighty, now this is made of cotton, and we'll talk about yarns in just a second. But this is just a fun Valentine's Day washcloth that makes a wonderful gift, or just to decorate. If you love to decorate your bathrooms up, you could even use this in the kitchen, you know, to wash the dishes if you wanted to, but it's too pretty to wash the dishes. I just love how it turned out. We just used the heart stitch pattern here, and then we just did some repeat rows with the red in between. And I love the red and white. I think it's beautiful. But on today's, we're going to be using some other colors, just so that you can see that Valentines and hearts are not just for Valentine's Day. This would make a lovely wedding gift, birthday gift, bridal shower gift, even a baby gift in baby colors, because it's not a great big washcloth. Oh, and I also added a loop on the end so you can hang it up to dry. That way it doesn't get all, stinky. You know how cotton can absorb the water and it gets moisture in there. And if we don't wash it right away, it can get a little bit stinky. We don't want that with these beautiful washcloths. So I added that loop so we can hang it up so that it can dry. It's just a really fun little washcloth to make in any colors that you want, and even on Valentine's Day, of course. And you can find the complete pattern with lots of pictures on my blog, and I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. Alrighty, let's talk supplies. Now, of course, I always recommend that you make your washcloth out of cotton yarns. And I went to Hobby Lobby and just picked up some Crafter's Secret in cotton. It's 100% cotton. And this is a variegated. It's called hot pink, but it does have some hot pink in it. And you'll wonder why I have this pink as well. All right, and I'll tell you in just a second, but I also picked up some of this beautiful lavender, and it is also 100% cotton. And you're going to need a total of 2 ounces of each color. That's probably a little more, probably 1.5 ounces of each color, because you're not going to need more than about 3 ounces for the entire project, unless you make it longer, of course. Now, this was the demo that I was working on, and I really love how it's turning out with the variegated and the purple lavender here. But as I got to thinking about this, when we do this heart section, it might be a little bit hard for you to see how to do that. And so I'm going to be doing a demo with the lavender and this pink so that you can see how to do the heart section. And then when we get finished up to here, I'll finish off with this to complete another whole washcloth. All right? Because it's a little bit frustrating. I forget sometimes when you're videoing something and you're using a variegated that's a busy yarn, even though it's beautiful, because this is gorgeous yarn, and you can see how pretty it looks on here. It's sometimes a little bit difficult to see those stitches, okay? So we'll do that section with the hearts, like this first portion here, because we'll start there using this pink, and then we'll switch over to the other farther up, okay? And as we're going, if I decide that I'm not liking it, you can't see it, I'll go back to the pink. I just want to make sure that you can see how to do this washcloth, because it is so much fun to make. And these little pico stitches down here, it just adds just so much fun to this washcloth. All right? So approximately 3 to 4 ounces total to make your washcloth. All right, we're going to be stitching up today with our H hook, which is a 5mm crochet hook. You need a needle for weaving in ends. And then, of course, we'll need a pair of scissors. All right. Now, this can also be a stash busting project. You can change colors as many times as you want to and just grab some of the cotton yarns that you already have and just have some fun. So we're going to be starting with our color 1, which is the white. And then we'll come in and make our hearts and then switch back and forth from red and white on here, but we'll be doing purple and pink on that one, the demo. And then we'll come back in and do a round, do the picot stitch and the loop. It looks difficult, but it's really not, because those hearts are just basically 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, it's a shell stitch. Okay? So it's really not as hard as it might look. All right, let's get started. We're going to begin, of course, with our color 1. We're going to make our slip knot, and we're going to loosely chain 28 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, it's real important that this first chain be a little bit loose, because you don't want the bottom end of your washcloth to be puckered up, okay? So I have 10 done. I need to finish for a total of 28 chains. So I have stitched 28 chains, a little bit loose. Now we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then we'll single crochet in each of those chains, working all the way across. And one thing I will tell you, if you are a tight crocheter, that first chain, you can always go up to an eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, to stitch that beginning chain if you have trouble keeping your beginning chain just a little bit loose. Just go up a hook size for the chain, but not the rest of the project. All right? All righty, I'm just going to continue across, stitching 1 single crochet in each of those chains across. We began in the second chain from the hook and stitched a single crochet in each chain across. So you have 27 single crochets. And this is where you want to look at it. If it's pulling or if it's gaping, make sure that it's not too loose and not too tight. You want it to lay nice and flat. All right? So again, we've got 27 single crochets, and then we chain 1, which I've already done, and we're going to turn our work. The chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so we're going to go right in that first stitch and stitch a single crochet, and then we'll just stitch a single crochet in each of those 27 single crochets across. I have completed row 2. We have 27 single crochets. Our chain 1 did not count as a stitch, so we started in our first single crochet and just stitched 1 across. Chain 1, and now for row 3, we're just going to repeat what we did for row 2. We chained 1, we turned our work, and now we're just going to single crochet in each of those single crochet stitches. Again, it's just 1 single crochet in each of the single crochet stitches. All the way across. I have completed row 3. Again, 1 single crochet in each across and chain 1. So we have 3 rows of solid single crochet. Now we're going to do the hearts. And again, I used a variegated. It's very pretty, but it's a little busy and hard for you to see. So I'm going to do this demo down here with that pink that I showed you so that you can see exactly how to do those hearts, okay? All right, so I've got my pink ready here. Let's get started. We've chained one. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to single crochet in the first 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to single crochet in the 4th one, but we're not going to finish the single crochet. We're going to finish it with the pink or our color 2. So we'll go in and pull up a loop, then we'll grab our pink and pull that in. All right? Because now we're going to make our shell stitch that will be our heart. Now I've got my color 1 pulled across because we're going to stitch over it. All right, so we're going to skip 1 single crochet, and then in the next we're going to stitch our shell stitch. All right, so we'll skip this one, we'll go in the next, we're going to stitch over that yarn we're trailing across, and we're going to stitch 2 double crochets, 1, 2, we're going to chain 1 and stitch 2 more double crochets in that same stitch. All right, and so we've got 1 shell stitch there, and that's going to be our first heart. Now we're ready to do the rest of our hearts because we've got 1 made and we need to do 4 more. All right, so now we're going to skip the next 3, 1, 2, 3, and stitch the shell stitch in the next. All right, so we'll do the same thing, double crochet 2 times, chain 1 and 2 double crochets in the same stitch. And again, we're just trailing that purple or lavender across the back and stitching over it when we make our shell stitch. All right, so we're going to skip the next 3, shell stitch in the next. 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, shell stitch in the 4th, stitching over that tail of yarn. All right, so now we have 4. We're going to have 1 more. 1, 2, 3, stitch in the 4th, or the next, which is the 4th. All right, so now I have 5 hearts or shell stitches. All right, so we've stitched those 5 shell stitches, but we're going to be bringing back in our purple or our color 1. So on that last double crochet, let's take it out. You're not going to want to finish it. You're going to start it and then finish with your lavender. I'm just going to move that pink to the back there. We are going to cut it off at this point. All right, now we'll skip the next stitch and we'll single crochet in those last 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll go ahead and chain 1. I am going to cut off my pink and we'll bring it back in when we do our stripes, okay? But let's talk about this real quick because this particular row is the hardest row of the whole washcloth. So we have 4 single crochets, we chained 1, but we changed to our pink on our last single crochet. And then we made our 5 shell stitches with 3 in between, skipping those 3, carrying our yarn. And don't worry, we're going to come back in when we make our heart here and stitch over that yarn that we carried. All right, so then on our last double crochet of our last shell, we changed back to our color 1 and skipped 1 single crochet and stitched 1 single crochet in the last 4 stitches. All right, and that's the way that row 4 should look. All righty, now we're ready for row 5. I've chained 1. I'm going to turn my work, and I'm just letting these hang for now because we'll need to come in and weave those in. All right, but I think you can see why it was easier to see how to do this row not using this variegated. Okay, all right, so we've chained 1. We're going to single crochet in those first 4 single crochet stitches. Now we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. We're going to single crochet in the chain 1 space, chain 2, and now we're going to single crochet around here and down here into that middle single crochet of those 3 that we skipped. Okay, so we'll come down here and single crochet around, and that pulls that down. And when we look at this on the other side, because this is the front, it'll make that heart pooch just a little bit. All right, chain 2, single crochet in the chain 1 space, chain 2, and single crochet around. And just so that you understand, you're single crocheting around that yarn that we carried and around, going in the center single crochet of those 3 and single crochet. And you're going to want to make sure that's just a little bit loose. You don't want it pulling too tight, but you also want that heart just to pooch a little. Okay, chain 2, single crochet in the chain 1, chain 2, single crochet around, and repeat across. And see, this is the back, this is the front. All right, it's just as pretty on the back as it is on the front. We just need to weave these ends in. All right, so I'm doing my last chain 2. So I'm going to come over here to these last 4 single crochets and just stitch 1 single crochet in each of those 4. And chain 1. All right, so this is how it looks on the back. And that's why I'm leaving these strings here also, so you can tell the front from the back. When we're making a washcloth like this, you do want the back to look just as pretty as the front. And so I normally would weave these right away in. But what I like to do when I'm going from front to back sometimes is just leave those strands. It helps me remember which side is the back. So here's the back. I'm going to turn it around so you can see the front. And isn't that pretty? And it kind of makes those hearts kind of poochy out. I just love it. I think it just makes just a wonderful touch on the bottom edge of our washcloth. Now we're ready for row 6. Super easy. We've chained 1, 1 single crochet in each of those 4 single crochets, 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space, 1 single crochet in the single crochet, 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space, 1 single crochet in the single crochet. And so all we're doing is making a row of single crochets. 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space, 1 single crochet in the single crochet, 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space, 1 single crochet in the single crochet. And we'll just repeat this all the way across. All right, so we stitched 1 single crochet in the first 4, 1 in each of the chain 2 spaces, 1 in each of the single crochets, and then 1 in the last 4. So you should be back at 27 single crochets. Chain 1, and now what we're going to do for the next 2 rows is stitch 1 single crochet in each. And that will give us 3 solid rows like we have down here. All right, so chain 1 and turn, 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets across, chain 1 and turn, and repeat for 2 more solid rows of single crochets. So this brings us to row 8. We did those 2 more rows of single crochets. So we've completed up through row 8. The rest of this washcloth for the body of it is just single crochets, striping in different colors. And so I want to show you this one again, the one that I actually originally did, but you couldn't see it very well because of the variegated colors. So we're up through here. And now we're going to change colors and do 2 rows of the same color that we used for our hearts. All right. So since I'm using pink on this one, we'll go ahead and bring this pink in just so you can see. And when you change colors, always do that chain 1 in the new color. That way you don't have a little bump of the wrong color. All right. And then we'll just turn and do 2 rows of single crochet in color 2. Or it could be a different color. It could be a third color. I'm just doing it in the same color that I did my hearts. So 2 rows of single crochet in our color 2. So here is the actual washcloth that I've been working on. There's the front and here's the back. You can see I have not weaved in my ends yet. Again, when I'm doing something like this, I like to know the front from the back, and by leaving those tails of yarn in here, that helps me know where the back of my work is. They do need to be weaved in later though, okay? Now, let's take a look at this one. On this other one, we worked up through the first 3 rows and then the heart row, then the chain 2 single crochet row, then 2 more rows of single crochet. And then we did 2 rows of single crochet in our color 2. And to finish the body portion of your washcloth, we're going to be finishing in single crochets, and you're going to want to do 6 rows of our color 1, 2 rows of our color 2, and then end with 6 rows of our color 1. And we are going to be doing some more rows because we're going to be doing the trim, but this is the way that it should look at this point when you finish all your rows of single crochet. And remember, if you want to do a third color here and a fourth color, fifth color, sixth color, using your scrap colors, it's totally fine. It makes a wonderful scrap happy project as well. All right. And so this is where we should be at when we finish all those rows of single crochet. And one other thing, you could do it all one color if you wanted to, and just have your hearts down here, a different color. That's the fun thing about this type of project. Use your imagination, use your scrap yarns, and have some fun. All right, but when we get to this point, we're going to be doing a single crochet all the way around. We're going to do that picot trim and then that loop. All right, but you need to do all of those crochet rows, 2 here, 6 here, 2 here, 6 here, to bring you up to this point. And a lot of times people will say, oh, you're going too fast. When you get to this point, pause the video, do all your rows, and then come back to the video. So now for the remainder of our video, I will be using the actual washcloth, because remember we did the bright pink yarn here where this variegated is, just so you could see how to do those heart stitches. All right, so I'm going to bring back in my color 2, and we're going to chain 1, and now we're going to be working down the side, across the bottom, and back up, and then back across the top evenly all the way around all 4 sides. All right, so I'm going to come over here, and we're going to evenly single crochet down the side of our washcloth. Make sure you're working on the front side. If you added more rows, and maybe you added more in your sections or whatever, make sure you're on the front side of your washcloth. And remember, you can check that by seeing where the tails, where we added the hearts, are. Those tails of yarn will be on the back side of your work. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to single crochet evenly down the side of my washcloth till I reach that corner. And since we're not doing anything intricate, like I said, I will be finishing this washcloth using this beautiful brightly colored variegated yarn. I think it's just pretty with this lavender purple. It'd be nice with pink or light blue. All right, now I'm almost to this corner. When you get to the corner, you want to chain 1, turn, and then single crochet in that same stitch. And then now we're just going to single crochet across the bottom, working in those chains. But the reason we want to single crochet and stitch in that same stitch is it gives us a nice corner on our washcloth. All right, and so I'm just going to work across the bottom, and then I'll work up this other side the same way I did on this side, and then again we'll work all the way across the top. And make sure you put a single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet in each of those 4 corners. So I have evenly single crochet down the first side, and remember we're working on the front of our work. Single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the corner, then I single crocheted across the bottom, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, then we evenly single crocheted up the side, and again single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the corner. And now I'm just going to single crochet across here, and then we'll join here, and then we're going to go around again, and we'll do those beautiful picot stitches, work back up here, make our loop, and then back across. It seems a little confusing, but I like to do it this way because I think it's the best way to give it a nice trim and keep us from having to cut our yarn several times. The less amount of weave ins, the better. All right, so I'm just going to continue across the top, stitching a single crochet in each till we reach that other one. Then we'll join up and head back down that other side. We joined here our new yarn. We're working on the front of our yarn. We evenly single crochet down, across, back up, and then back across the top, placing a single crochet chain 1 in each of our corners, and then we join back to our first single crochet. All right, so now we're going to do the row where we add the picot trim, which I just love. All right, so we're going to be working back down, single crocheting down, and then we'll work those picots across the bottom, single crochet back up. All right? All righty. So we're still using our color 2. If you want to change colors, maybe go back to the purple or whatever colors that you're using, go right ahead. Remember, use your imagination. All right, so I'm going to chain 1 after we joined. And we're going to just place a single crochet in each of these single crochets, working down this first side of our washcloth. Super simple, right? All right, so I'm just going to work all the way down to this corner, stitching 1 single crochet in each of my single crochets. So we've placed a single crochet in each of those single crochets, working down that side. And now we're going to do that fun picot stitch. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go right in that first stitch. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to slip stitch right in the top of that single crochet. Now we're going to single crochet in the next 2, 1, 2, chain 3, and slip stitch right in the top of that single crochet. And we're going to do this all the way across. 1, 2, 1 single crochet in the next 2, and then this is our picot, chain 3, slip stitch in the top. Now a lot of people will only have you go through that first loop. I like to go through both of them. I think it makes the picot stand up a little better. So 1 single crochet in the next 2, then our picot stitch, 1, 2, 3 chains, and slip stitch in the top of that single crochet. All right, let me lay this flat so you can see how that looks. Isn't that fun? Now, if you want your picot stitch to stand taller, you can stitch 4 or 5 and it'll make a longer loop. Okay, I just really like the basic one. I think it looks nice. It's not too fancy, but it's also fun. It almost gives it a lacy appearance. All right, so let's just work across. 1 single crochet in the next 2, and chain 3, slip stitch in the top of that single crochet, and 1 single crochet in the next 2. Chain 3, slip stitch in the top of that single crochet, and 1 single crochet in the next 2. All right, and so we'll just repeat this all the way across, and we want to make sure, like we have one right here in this corner, make sure that you get one right in that last corner. So I have completed all those picot stitches. Aren't they pretty? I just love them. I think they're gorgeous and add a little extra touch. It almost looks like lace on the bottom of our washcloth. So I wanted to make sure I got one right in that last corner so that it looks the same as this one. All right, and so now what we're going to do is we're just going to stitch 1 single crochet all the way up this side of the washcloth. All right, so I'm just going to work all the way up here, and then we're going to put that loop on. So we completed that picot edge. Then we came back up the side, stitching a single crochet in each. And now we're back up here at the top. And I want to do the loop so you can hang it up so it can dry after you use it. All right, and then we'll come back across the top. So what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 12 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, we're going to join back to this single crochet. We're going to chain 1, and now we're going to stitch in this chain 12 loop, and we're going to put 13 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 single crochets. So we have 13 single crochets in our loop, and we want to make sure that we come back to the front and join in that same stitch with a single crochet. All right, now we have a loop to hang up our washcloth, and now we're just going to stitch 1 single crochet in each of those single crochets across the top of our washcloth. And I really love how the colors work on this particular washcloth. I think the lavender and bright pink one would be pretty also. The one that we worked on for our swatch. All right, so we've got our loop on now, and we're just single crocheting across the top, and then we'll join back to our first single crochet over here. So we placed 1 single crochet in each of those stitches across, and now it looks real uniform because we have 2 rows down here, 2 rows down here, 2 rows here, and 2 rows up here, and it gives our washcloth a nice uniform look. Okay, I chained 1, and I'm going to join to that first single crochet. That way I get a nice corner over there. There we go. I'm going to come from the back. I'm going to grab that loop and pull it to the back, and I'll need to weave that in. All right, I do want to show you, I did go ahead and take the time to weave in all the ends in the back, and you can see that even the back of the washcloth is very pretty. All right, and then here's our front, and you want that with a washcloth. You want it to look just as good on the back as it does in the front. All right, so I'm just going to take a second and weave this end in, and I'll be all done with my washcloth. And so here are my 2 washcloths that I called All My Heart washcloths. And again, I think these would be great for babies, for wedding showers, gifts, birthdays. Hearts are not just for Valentine's Day, even though they're fun. They're for any time of year. And I really love how this turned out. And I think it's really pretty with this picot stitch on the end and these beautiful row of 5 hearts on the bottom. And I love both of them. And it's a really good thing to see, to use 2 different colors of yarn to see how you can get different results. Okay, because this is like traditional Valentine's Day, and this would be great for a wedding gift who maybe her wedding colors are lavender and pink. You could do it on wedding colors, baby room colors, house colors, and again, scrap happy.